Let's look at all the reasons why No Man's Sky lost over 90% of its players in the first 2 weeks of its release. The sad thing is that even if you forget all the lies by Hello Games and how they completely misinterpreted the game and continue to do so, just look at their Steam page, it still shows the E3 videos which are nothing like the game. And even if you knew nothing about the game and expected only a relaxing space exploration survival game, it doesn't deliver anything close to a satisfactory experience unless you're drugged out of your mind. There is literally zero reason to explore past the first 5 hours and zero reason to go to the center of the universe, which is the biggest letdown I have ever had in gaming. It doesn't actually feel like a real universe. There are no planetary physics and gravity is all on the same planets. There are no actual solar systems. The planets do not rotate around the sun but are stationary, sitting together in a blob. The moons don't even go around the planets. All of the various wonders of the universe, neutron stars, supernovas, pulsars, etc. are entirely absent. There are no stars. They're just part of the skybox, but you can't fly to them. The 18 quintillion planets that were so heavily marketed aren't impressive when you realize what that actually means. If you took 11 things and came up with 50 variations for each, that is close to 18 quintillion combinations. Most planets are entirely the same, but with different bumps and colors. They have the same objects on them and largely the same resources. Once you've seen the first dozen planets, you've seen them all. There is no actual difference between the ships, except the number of inventory slots. There are no ships specializing for, say, speed or combat. You don't have a sense of scale to your journey. In the galactic map, you can only see other stars, but there is no sense of where you are in relation to the center of the universe. Likewise, you don't have a way to track where you were. No mapping or history, waypoints, or other ways of tracking your progress. There needs to be a way to see how you're progressing and also give some meaning to how far you have gone. You can't actually fly between these systems or go into the dark space or outer asteroid belt. The only way to travel between them is to open up the map and click warp, which initiates a loading screen animation and loads up new planets. There is no deep space. You feel like you're in an instance with 3 or 4 planets that are mostly the same. Then you load up a new skybox with a new set of similar planets. It's nothing like, say, Space Engine, where you actually get the true sense that you're in a real universe. You can't even fly your ship. You can fly low across a planet as there is an invisible boundary, but you can't crash your ship. The controls are terrible, it has none of the complexity of other spaceflight sims. You can't manually land your ship, you simply press a button for it to auto-land. Tons of other maneuvers, like entering the space stations, are entirely autopilot. The asteroids, which are everywhere, have insane pop-in issues. They only show up like 50 meters in front of you. The freight ships do not move, they just sit there passively forever. They add zero gameplay depth. The space stations are all basically the same. The planets are littered with outposts, all identical and with a single NPC alien standing still and staring into the wall. The NPCs are entirely shallow. There is literally no point to even talking to them since they never say anything interesting and simply give you something random you likely do not need. Even the automated quest giving NPC in Bethesda games that hand out those Radiant AE quests will be a massive improvement. All of the monoliths are the same. It's nothing but a chore to chase them down. The words you learn don't add any depth to interactions with the aliens since they never have anything interesting to say anyway. There are no actual biomes on each planet. Each planet is the same no matter where you land. The animals are built on 14 different skeleton designs, with a bunch of random animal parts scrapped on top of each section to maximize the number of permutations, and there is no attempt to make the animal make any sense in its environment or have anything unique in its behavior. The animals have no evolutionary history and their behavior is incredibly shallow. There are no tall trees like there are in E3, they are all saplings. There are no large forests and no large creatures. There are no large valleys, huge mountain peaks, no giant volcanoes, all terrain is uniformly similar across planets. The grinding, which makes up most of the game, is not only boring but frustrating due to the completely messed up inventory management. The interface is absolutely atrocious. It's amazing that it can be messed up this bad, but the fact that we need a mode just to remove the requirement that you have to hold each click for a second speaks volumes. You need to load up a menu to do anything, and the menus are terribly designed and completely unintuitive. The game is a technical mess. It looks like ass, yet runs with all sorts of frame rate issues. The traveling on foot is insanely slow and tedious. There should have been a buggy or a car, or at least some sort of fast jetpack like in Tribes. It fails as a survival game since nothing in the game leaves you threatened. Each planet is seeded with abundant resources and the few things that do attack you are easily defeated. Compared to Minecraft, where there is a very definite risk-reward system to exploring a deep cave system, nothing really threatens you in a meaningful way. The different minerals and resources do not really matter, since most of the upgrades to explore the universe are yours within the first hour or two. All the rest are kind of nice add-ons. There is no challenge to exploring. There is very little combat, and what combat there is, it is very boring. Inside the solar system, there is no way to decide if a planet is interesting or not without actually visiting it. There should be some classification of the planets, example class M, class X, etc. that allows you to say a certain type of planet might be safe or unsafe. All planets are accessible right from the start of the game. I was excited about the idea of acid planets, radioactive planets, cold planets. I was thinking that in order to explore a radioactive planet, you need to create some special gear. There was a pretty obviously gameplay loop where the dangerous planets had better minerals, ruins, whatever, but are very hard to explore. Instead, every planet is basically just a copy of the others. The constant need to recharge things, which don't really serve a purpose. It makes the game very grindy without any positive feedback. Instead of feeling free to explore the world around me, I feel annoyed that if I see something cool, it means 30 seconds of tedium while I mine the abundant plutonium. I end up not landing and exploring because of how annoying it is to take off again and to enter a menu and to recharge my ship. None of the aliens interact with each other or have any sort of AE, then walk around a bit. There's nothing to sit and watch. An occasional ship will fly overhead, but they don't do anything. You never really see a battle take place or a ship's acting in any sort of interesting manner. This is a textbook case of why hype culture is cancerous to gaming. It leads to companies looking to hype as many people into priority and then sitting back and releasing a shallow, broken game.